Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Generation X Nation. As y'all seen the thumbnail, we're gonna be talking about Belle collectives today. But look, thank you. I say this always before I start any of my commentary. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys who have signed up to the channel, who has left a comment, even on some of my shorts. I definitely appreciate it. Keep signing up, keep subscribing, keep leaving a comment, share, tell a friend to look for my channel if you can. I definitely appreciate it, and I know there's millions and millions of channels you could be watching, so the fact that you took the time to watch mine does not go unnoticed. Now, with that being said, Bell Collective, real quick, we'll kind of see where the storylines are going this year. Okay, again, everything on my channel is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. That's alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. And I hope everybody had a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I hope you guys are having a happy Sunday. I was able to sit down and watch Bell Collective last night. I had to watch it twice, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. I won't make this long, but I have a quick little list of comments that I just want to talk about real quick. First, we're going to start out with, in the beginning, they tried to catch us up with what was going on. Apparently, Letitia and Latrice are still not talking. And this has stemmed from last season, and they haven't talked or seen each other, I guess, since the reunion. And you remember last season, Letitia was blaming Latrice for the issues with her marriage with Glenn because allegedly she knew something about Glenn that her friend told her, and I think the friend was the hairdresser girl. I forgot her name, but she was a girl that they end up finding out she was dating Marie's cousin. Yeah, that girl. So I guess this fight has went on to the next season. So they start off saying they're not speaking, and Latrice basically is being hardcore this year. She don't want nothing to do with Letitia. She's done with Letitia. She has cut Letitia off. She said Letitia was like a piece of dirt underneath her shoe. I thought that was kind of a low blow. You didn't have to say that. If y'all not speaking, just don't speak. But you didn't have to go there. Now, after that, they started out with Letitia doing her talk show. So I guess she done moved from brunching to doing talk shows now. Okay. Instead of being the queen of brunch, the boss brunch girls, now she's a talk show girl. And I really thought her talk show was good. Her first guest was Letitia Scott from Huntsville. And the way she introduced Letitia Scott, she called her a boss mom, a wife, a CEO, community leader, commercial real estate investor. I was like, who is she talking about? So anyway, they get up there, they do the interview, and I will say this, Letitia Scott looked absolutely amazing. And she did really good on the interview as far as her speaking and answering the questions and presenting herself. And I thought that was really good. And believe it or not, Letitia Pearson did really good. I mean, for somebody who's trying out a talk show, I guess she would do good in the local area where she's at and maybe build from there. But she seems to know the subject that she wants to talk about, and she seemed to be able to keep people engaged. Now, again, we only seen a little edited version, so we don't know how the whole 45 minutes or hour, however long the show went. But I did notice one thing Letitia did say when she asked her how does she keep it all together. Letitia said that she puts her kids, her husband, and then family life. I don't know where Letitia comes from, but most people will say God comes first, then your husband, then your children, and then down from there. So Letitia kind of got it all wrong. And then she went on to say how her and Marceau, had to sit down and have a conversation because Marceau used to just give her an allowance and she wanted her own thing. And then Letitia Pearson started talking about the same thing. Look, in my opinion, Pearson and Letitia Scott kind of in similar situations and have some of the same process. The difference is Marceau seems to be a harder working man to make sure his family is put together. Whether we like Marceau or not, he goes out there every day and grinds for his family. Glenn, that's a whole nother ball game. So you having the same thought process, but y'all husbands are definitely moving differently. So let's move on. Let's talk about Letitia Pearson talking about Glenn wasn't trying to support her on her talk show. Letitia Pearson, Glenn has never supported anything you did. Only thing Glenn supports what you do is being on that TV show because it gets him exposure. That's all I can say. All right. Now, he seemed like to me Glenn is having issues with Letitia Pearson wanting to elevate. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now we get down to Marie and Zuri. Marie, it was very hard and a little cringy for me to watch you have this conversation with your daughter about her dad cheating on you. I think it was very inappropriate. I don't think she was old enough. I mean, children pick up on stuff and they see what's going on, but you should not have brought your daughter into that mix. It seems like your daughter has a problem with her dad already. And then you adding that into it just puts fuel on the fire. And then your daughter's going to have resentment toward her father. And that should not happen. The father daughter relationship is totally different than the mother and the wife. Okay? Just because he's a bad man don't mean he's a bad father. Children should always have access to their father. I'm not saying lie from the truth. When she gets older, she'll piece it together and let her make that decision. But for right now, you, in my opinion, should not have told her all of those things because she's going to form an opinion. She already acted like she had a problem with him showing up to a practice, and now you just added fuel to the fire. She was too young, and you should not have told her that. I just don't think she is in a position where she needs to know that right now. What she just needs to know is her father's there. He shows up for her, and whatever relationship they have is their relationship, and your relationship with him is totally different. Marie, I just didn't like that. I don't know. I mean, even last year when y'all was in that, I guess it was a barbershop type thing, and you was telling him to get rid of the bed. He acted like he didn't want to get rid of the bed. So that was giving me red flags then. Carrie and Paul, I think it's Matt or Paul, I forget her husband's name. But anyway, they're having a little bit of problems trying to get that restaurant off the ground. I think it's down near Mobile, Alabama. I hope it works out. Now she's throwing an event for her birthday, this 90s party with the Love Jones theme, and that's what everybody is basically getting ready for. This is their first event. Um, let's go to Glenn. Glenn is sitting down with Letitia Pearson and Glenn are sitting down with this therapist, counselor guy. Apparently, he's been knowing them for a long time, and he knows, I guess, all of their business ins and out. His name is Mr. Steve. So as they're sitting there talking, Mr. Steve is looking at Glenn sideways. Glenn is basically saying he wants a traditional wife. So y'all go back to this man who I want my wife to submit to me. I want her to do as I say and be at home and raise my kids. That's basically what Glenn wants. Glenn wants Letitia Pearson locked down in the house, cooking his food, taking care of his kids, and taking care of him. He's a selfish individual because you want all of that from her when you can't even be faithful, Glenn. So as long as you got her tucked away somewhere, that gives you the freedom to move about the cabin, to move about the city and do what you want. Let that lady do what she chooses to do. If she wants to go out and make a career for herself and feel like she is contributing to society, what is the problem with that? Glenn seems to be jealous. Glenn can't figure out what he wants to do in life, and he doesn't like, it seems like, again, alleged, in my opinion, that he has some type of issue that she's able to walk out the door every day and have a purpose when he's sitting around every season trying to figure out what his purpose is. One season he's working in the oil rigs, and then he realized the show is booming. So now I got to get a job off seat because I wants to be on camera. Then he wants to be a rapper. We all seen how that went. Then you decide to buy a box truck and be a truck driver. And now I don't know what you're doing. But your wife is trying to elevate, and to me, you holding her back and yourself back because you guys could be so much further along with this platform. And I will say, take a book out of Latrice and Glenn. Glenn, when we met Latrice and not Glenn, I'm sorry, Cliff. When we met Latrice and Cliff, Cliff was doing his thing. Latrice had her hairline and all of that. And now she has elevated on to restaurants and different things and property. So you could be working together with your wife to move to that next step. But you too busy trying to keep her contained somewhere so you can run the streets. That's all I see out of you, Glenn. He said, I'm a traditional man. To me, you're a man, baby, Because if you want your wife to do what you want her to do, then you have to provide that security. You have to provide the financial stability. You have to make sure that you provide the life that she wants. And from where I'm gathering, we still trying to figure out where all your money coming from. Because she was pissed off when you left that job and you only had no more health insurance. So let her go out there and grind and just be supportive of her. Or if nothing else, grind alongside of her. Whatever she's doing, get in there with her and be part of the business with her. Glenn, I'm not even wasting my time. All I'm saying is when I see Letitia in the confessional, she looks very sad, and it's very painful to watch. At least for me. It was just very, very painful. I feel like Letitia wants to leave, but she don't have the courage to leave. She'll break up with him, but to actually walk down to that attorney's office and file for some divorce paper, it takes a lot because, like she said, I've been knowing Glenn all my life. And just because he's been here all your life doesn't mean that you have to stay with him. I feel like you will fly once you clip their wings. Either Glenn is going to change, and so far, I don't think he will. Or you're going to have to move on, Letitia. Otherwise, you're just going to be where you at right now, just kind of sad and miserable all the time. And we, fans of the show, we hate seeing Glenn hurt you every season. Y'all on season 7. And when we met you on season 1, Glenn was having a paternity test. And now we're in season 7. And between that, Glenn has quit his job. Glenn has bought a box truck. You went through your cancer scare. It was just on and on and on. Every season, he's hurting you. And you keep trying to figure out, what shall I do? The answer is right there. The only thing you got to do is take the first step. Um, Latrice and Cliff, it's something odd to them about them to me this season with Latrice and Cliff, because normally we've seen Cliff being very, very macho, and very stern with Latrice. But in these last 2 seasons, I noticed Cliff has been just a little laid back and letting Latrice, do all the hard work. So this particular episode, it seemed like Latrice was in charge, and she was telling Cliff, we ain't hanging around the Pearsons. You would not hang around Glenn. We're done with them. I don't want to see y'all around each other. If they're in the room, we going the other way, just back and forth. And I'm like, okay, so I remember when Cliff was in that bar with, no, when Latrice was in the bar with Letitia and I think Marie, and Cliff showed up down there and told her to get her behind out that bar, called her a B in there, and was kind of grabbing on her. So, and everybody was like, oh my God, Latrice is being abused. Latrice is being abused, or whatever. I mean, I won't say, but allegedly, I'm not saying that happened, but they felt like Cliff was just a little bit strict with Latrice as his wife and controlling, so to say. Now, these last 2 seasons, it seems like the script has flipped and Latrice is now the controlling one. Remember last season, she was like, hey, if you're going to be standing in that apartment, I'm coming down here. Cliff didn't say nothing. This season, she's telling Cliff who he can hang out with and who he can't hang out with. Now, I did like the scene in the bar when she was talking to her staff, but I just felt like the staff wasn't even really paying attention to her. They was like, yeah, whatever, we're going to wear what we want to wear and come in here how we want to come in here. I think Latrice, you need to get in there behind. And they may just be your friends and your family member. Maybe that's why you'll like with them. But I don't think the staff was taking you serious when you was telling them that. Just my opinion. Now, back to Latrice and Cliff. I felt like he must have got a lot of flack and she got so much flack that all of a sudden they must have had an offset a conversation and maybe was told, hey, you need to lighten up a little bit on your wife because it does look a little bit too controlling and borderline, abusive type stuff. I think that's what happened because all of a sudden Latrice got all kinds of, confidence and talking to Cliff any old kind of way. And I just didn't see that in the earlier seasons. And maybe that's just me. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all think it's different because I felt it was a little different. Um, and again, I feel Cliff and Glenn are suffering. Their friendship is suffering because Latrice and Letitia won't talk. And Cliff is just like, I just want my friend back. And Glenn is just like, I just want my friend back. And I get it because they seem to have been good friends. But see, this is where a person like JJ and I forget his name, Akeisha's husband, where they would come into play in this particular show, because they were two very level-headed men who had wives who had strong opinions, but they kept their marriage together. And I think the marriage advice that they could have gave those two to help them maneuver that situation with their wives and still be friends, I think that would have worked if they stayed on the show, because the rest of the guys on the show outside of Carrie's husband, it just seemed like they just trashed to me. Not saying human being trash. I'm just saying as far as relationships, they ain't got it together themselves. So there's nobody for them to really get any advice from. I think JJ and Akeisha's husband would have worked well on this show this particular season to help those two men maneuver their friendship. Because at the end of the day, kind of like the Married to Medicine men, they still remain friends even when their wives are fighting. You know what I'm saying? They still sneak off and go play golf together. These ladies is like, if my husband ain't cool, if my wife ain't cool with you, then I can't be cool with you. And I kind of think that's a little petty. Y'all can still go off and do stuff. Just don't talk about the wives. But I get it. You got to stick with your wife. You got to stick with the person that you're with. You got to stay on their side. You got to be team wifey. I get it. Um, Cedric doing Marie the way he did, I felt like, again, allegedly, Cedric played Marie. And I felt like Cedric may have needed some coins. Maybe he was falling back and, in that particular area, need a little bit more exposure, because from what Marie was saying, Cedric never left the lady, but basically they were texting and going back and forth with each other. So maybe Cedric and his ex was playing the both of you. But she probably said, "Hey, go get on this show and get some dollars. We behind on some, some rent money or something." I don't know, but maybe he plays you that season just to get a check, because it seemed very odd. As soon as the camera stopped rolling, he back over there at the girlfriend and then left you alone. So I feel bad for Marie. I don't know if this is gonna make Marie evil again, because Marie was really sweet the last season, but now that she ain't got her man and she'd have been hurt, Marie, please don't go back to angry Marie. We like you just the way you are. Um, Selena, we didn't really get much from Selena and Tambra. I just kind of felt like, Selena is going to be showing us a different side to her, with her and Mike going through whatever they got to go through. Tamra, I'm assuming Desmond's still around. I like Tambra. The baby is gorgeous. I hope her and Desmond finally get some kind of family thing together, but I still have my red flag on him. It's something about him that throws me off. I'm just not 100% okay with Desmond. He just seems like something is just missing. Um, and again, Glenn and Tisha, Latrice, I will say this before I hang up. Latrice, it's like, I'm done. I'm sick of them two. She said they break up every 2 days and they're back together. And she is right. And not only she see it, she's there with y'all every day, the audience see it. As I stated earlier, since season one, Letitia and Glenn have been going through this. Now you have the Bells divided. You got team Latrice and you got team Letitia, and we're going to see that go on during the season. And I don't think the ladies need to be in the middle. And I know Carrie is just trying to figure it out. And one thing, note on Carrie, I'm going to say this: Carrie looked absolutely gorgeous in her confessionals. That bob she was wearing, Carrie, I don't know what happened during the season. If you looked at your confessionals, you got a new hairstylist, whatever, but that bob was looking good on you. Okay. Marie still had her waves. I wasn't that fond of Letitia Pearson's look. I don't know. I mean, it looked okay, but the wig was just not sitting right for me. And, Carrie looked good. Tamara always looked good. Latrice looked good. Marie looked good. Letitia, it was, everything else was good. It was the wig wasn't sitting on your head right for me. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way you was tilting your head, but it just didn't look right to me. However, that is my recap on Bell Collective. We're going to have the Letitias and the Latrice, the Pearsons, and the Rogers going at it, I guess, for the rest of the season. Selena deciding whether she want to marry a guy, if he got an outside baby or not. I think she's going to marry him anyway. It don't matter, because a lot of these shows, you see the women, the guys may or may not have a baby on the way, or may not cheat, and they still stay with the guy and marry him. I think at some point, Letitia Pearson, you're going to have to make a decision about Glenn. Either stay with him and let him cheat in peace, or leave him. But what you got to do is stop putting us through the drama with you. We love the show. The Bells are absolutely beautiful. But at some point, you have to make a decision because we, the viewing audience, is getting to the point where if you don't do something about it, we don't even care no more. Let him keep doing what he's doing to you. But the bottom line is we like you and we hate to see you hurt. You have went from the staple of the show for us, the center of the show for us, to being pushed off to the side. And now you got Selena standing tall in the center and Latrice standing tall in the center. And you kind of being pushed off on the side. And you supposed to be in charge of the Bells, but you can't even get your own life together. Tell your husband stop hating on your success and maybe participating in your success. Be your manager. You know, if you're going to do a talk show, work on the talk show with you. Help get the staging set up. Do your bookings for you. Stop, as they say, being jealous from outside the club and join the club. Glenn, my goodness, you got a beautiful, smart wife who obviously ain't trying to leave you and going to be your ride and die and stand 10 toes down for you. And you still haven't figured that out yet. All right. But at the end of the day, I hope Letitia Pearson, I almost said Scott, I hope Letitia Pearson makes a decision and stop putting us through it because the fact that we like you, we feel your pain and we hurt for you. And with that being said, this is Generation X Nation. My quick recap on Belle Collectives. It looked like it's going to be a good season. Messy as usual, because y'all know Kingdom Reign loved the mess. All right. And with that, you guys go out and have a great Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day. And y'all be safe. This is your Next Nation. Peace. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and I'm out.